All right, all right. Just getting everything ready for you. Getting everything ready. I'm kind of ready already, but just making sure that I'm seeing in the right places that you can catch this wherever you are. If you're watching us on Facebook, hey, all my FB friends, how you doing? Happy Tuesday. If you're watching me on YouTube, how y'all doing? You on that app? You on that one? I appreciate it. Go ahead and put in the comments TIO Tuesdays. It's TO Tuesdays. Talking about Tuesdays with Tori and MsTonya. That's right. And today, what we're going to be talking about? Self-care. Self-care. All right? Because we need to be taking care of ourselves. We do. So welcome to Talking Out Tuesday with Tori and MsTonya. Come on in here. Let us get ourselves together. We got some things we need to be talking about. We have candid and honest conversations about topics that have been on your mind and our minds. We're not afraid to dive deep, or sometimes we might have to get a little petty. But hey, we're here to talk it out. So today, during Women's History Month, we're going to talk about something that is very important for us. We're talking about self-care. All right. Y'all go ahead and comment where you're from. Get in here and comment where you're from, where you're listening from. All right. What about me? Sometimes we need to ask ourselves that. We do. Sometimes we need to ask, what about me? And the question, who you're asking that, you're asking yourself that. You should be asking yourself that. Because you need to be taking care of yourself. But before we get too deep into the conversation, there's something that we got to do. And that's a part of self-care too. We do that every time we meet here. We do that every time we gather. We take a little time. We just take just a little bit of time to do a little breath work. Get in here and let's do it. Self-care. What I want you to do is inhale to the count of 4. And we're going to hold it for a few seconds. And then we're going to exhale. And we'll hold that for a few seconds. And we'll repeat that a few times. Now, you can close your eyes if you're in a place that you can do that. I don't want you to do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're actually sitting at the desk. If you got your head pods on and you're taking a listen, we'll vibrate with us and listen. But if you can close your eyes, close your eyes. You want to take it a step further, put your hands over your heart and feel that you are alive. That's you. Let's get into it. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. One more time. Let's inhale. Hold it a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. Doesn't that feel great? It feels really good. Take your time. Take your time. If you had your eyes closed, just open them whenever you're ready, because this is a thing where we can listen. So feel yourself. I hope you did take the time to take that little bit of breath work for yourself. That's a part of self-care. I want to go ahead, and Kimberly is in here. She says, I'm joining you from LA on my morning walk. Let's go. Well, we getting ready to go. I'm getting ready to bring Tori in here. What's up, Tori? Tori, how you feeling?
I'm feeling simply amazing. It's a beautiful Tuesday. Hello, Kimberly, LA in the building. And listen, I got a little 1-year-old that's like looking at me like, what are you doing? I'm on the phone today, so I'm all over the house with the little 1-year-old. So Logan, tell the people, hey.
But you know
So
what?
y'all hear rattling and and baby googles and gaggles, and that's Logan. That's Logan.
Okay. We got Jamesa in the house with us. She said, "Hello, ladies. How you doing, Jamesa?" We also have Antoinette in here with us. How are you doing, lady? Got KJ in the house with us. She said, "Hey, hey, hey. How you doing, KJ? In somewhere in one of these Carolinas. I know you are. I know you are. It's Talk It Out Tuesday, guys." And Tori, I think what we're talking about today and what you're doing, we're always taking care of people. You're taking care of Logan, taking care of the baby right now. These are things that we do. These are things that, uh, we take care of our families, our babies, our friends, our spouses, people that we're in relationship with, our parents. But we do those things in a very selfless way, right? But why is it that we often feel a little guilty when it comes to taking care of ourselves? Why do we do that? Do you do that?
I do that often. I do feel guilty when I take care of myself, but I had to learn over the past few months it's important for me to take care of myself so I can adequately take care of others, because I was finding myself being very depleted and I didn't have nothing left. I was catering to everybody else and I didn't have anything left for me. So
And
I got to take care of me.
yeah, we don't need to do that. I see Kimberly in here. She said Logan living his best life.
He is, I promise you.
Hey, those are the days. I mean, because listen, we live in a world where we just find ourselves juggling just so many things, so many countless responsibilities. We're nurturing, we're nurturers, and we really are concerned about the needs of others. But point blank, as the people like to say, point blank, period, we have to recognize the significance of our own care. We do. I want to figure out why you think you might feel guilty about that, and that's anybody who might be listening. Why do we do that to ourselves? And I feel like we also need to share with each other and define what self-care could mean for us. What does self-care mean for you personally? You gotta let us know. Let us know. Okay. I see we also have Jamason here. She said, "Not anymore. It's a new day. 60 says it's all about me." Well, you know what? I'm happy to hear that. I'm very, very happy to hear that. And 60 is looking very well on you. But the thing is, we do this to ourselves. We do this to ourselves. We shouldn't have to get to 60 to realize that, we've got to come up with some strategies for healthy boundaries. How are we protecting our time? How are we protecting our energy? How do you even identify self-care practices? So I want you guys to go ahead and get in the comments and let me know what activities or what type of rituals bring you joy. What are some things that you do that help replenish you? What are some things that you can think about off the top of your head, Tori?
Actually, boundaries for me have been working in my favor. Boundaries to me is not answering every call, not going to every event or party or whatever that I'm invited to, understanding that no, yeah, I'm invited, but that doesn't necessarily mean I have to go.
Right.
And then also learning to say no with no explanation. I had a problem with trying to explain, well, why I can't. No, it's just no these days.
Right.
No, I ain't coming.
Right.
And no is it. No was a complete sentence. So
Mhm.
boundaries for me has been a game changer. The no.
I got you. I got you.
Boundaries and saying no.
I tell you what, you said something there. You said, not taking every call, not, that phone sometimes is a little trap for us, you know?
Absolutely.
It absolutely can be, and I'll tell you something very funny that happened, this morning. Today, we're talking about self-care, and you brought up, that phone. You don't have to answer it every time it rings or every time you hear that little bing for a text message. You don't have to respond to it. And something that I have funny is like my sisters and I, we live in different states. So we're in different states. We're in different time zones. And so we're in a little group chat. And this morning, a couple of us are very early risers, which can be okay. But like I said, we also live on different coasts. So if I'm an early riser and one of my sisters is not, and she's still on a different time zone, that could mean early, early, early. You know what I mean? But anyway,
Right.
we were in a text early this morning. For me, it was about 7ish. I don't know. It was really early. And one of my sisters was in the bed sleeping. She sent a message like, matter of fact, let me scroll through my phone because I ain't gonna tell you which one. I won't put her on blast quite like that. Although it's not a blast, but what you said was very important. And let me see if I can. I want to say exactly what she said. Oh, here we go. She said, "Love y'all, but it is 5:57, and my phone won't stop dinging." Now, being the sisters that we are, we laughing, and then I've sent a message back. I'm like, you got a silent button on your phone. And then what my other sister said, "You up now, sis?" She said, "I've been up since 4 a.m. on my day off." So, respect. And it's not so much that we don't respect her time or space or anything, but what you said, you don't have to answer that phone. You know? You don't. You can put the silence on your phone. You don't have to respond at all no matter who it is. I
Yeah.
mean, love is love. And
Absolutely.
as far as I'm concerned, she didn't even have to say that because if she didn't respond, that would be perfectly fine. It's been many times within that same, group text, they'll be going back and forth, and I hear the ping, and because I go to bed early, and so
Yeah.
by me going to bed early and them being up, they'll be having a whole conversation, and I'm hearing ping, 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 but I'm not responding. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
those are the boundaries, and those are healthy boundaries to set, you know what I mean? I see we got a lot of comments going up, so let me get some of these comments in here. I see Jamesa, she said, "It's all about meditation for me. It's why you always see me at the water wherever I go. Whatever part of the country, wherever I'm at, it's about water meditation, intake of self. Life is just too short. So I appreciate each day that I open my eyes. It shows in the book that I'm writing. It's the reason I'm going to Ghana for 7 months. It's about disconnect to reconnect with self." Wow. She got a lot going on, but I agree. Going to the water is a very calming and relaxing thing that they say you can take some of your troubles to the water, cross
Yeah.
some water. They always say when you cross water or take it to the water, you come back new.
Right. I'm just like, when she said Ghana for 7 months, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
in
yeah.
awe. Oh, I would love to do something like that.
Me too. It's another topic for another day, but I wanted to go to Ghana, and we were planning a trip to Ghana, and Ghana got a lot of things going on right now. They're passing some laws that I don't quite agree with, that I don't quite like. Um, so I got to think about rethink that trip. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then go look it up. Go look it up. See what Ghana doing with some laws over there. I see we got Tanya in here. She says, Tanya Joseph. She said, "Hey y'all, thanks for the invite." Well, thank you for coming in and engaging with us. We're talking about self care. We're talking about self care, and we're trying to identify and share with each other some self care practices. So, if you can get in here and let us know, like, what activities or what type of things, what type of rituals bring you joy, what is something that help replenish you, something that is a real self care moment for you, and maybe that might help us out. I see we got Ashley in here. She said, "Woo, yes, the phone, child, that phone." That phone, the amount of ignoring I do with my phone is incredible. So it never bothers me. It can be a call, it can be text, whatever it needs to be, that's it. I see we got another Tanya in the house. What's up with the Tanyas today? I feel y'all. It's Happy Tanya Day. I see we got Tanya Vale in here. She said, can be ordered. Five below. Now I don't know what this is. I don't. Let me take this down. I'm not sure. What is it, Tanya?
She's talking about it's a book about it's the ABCs of self-care, loving yourself.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I'll post a picture after the podcast, and it is really, it's a really good book.
Well, let me
Tanya blessed me with it on this past Sunday.
really. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'll have to look that up. I see we got Kimberly in the house. She said, "I'm pretty good at self care, or rather, very intentional." And there is a difference. There is a difference. People can say they're good at self care. Maybe they are, but I like that she said, or rather, very intentional. I get massages usually once per week. I have lunch or dinner out alone on at least once per week. And I travel near and far, just outside the city, oftentimes out of the country, because I deeply enjoy that. Now, those are some good things. That sounds real, real good.
Absolutely. And the key word that she said was intentional.
Yeah.
That's why I say I can't say that I'm good with self-care just yet with the intentionality part of it, but I'm getting better. I'm
Hmm.
getting better with with taking care of myself, because I'm like, I'm always showing up for everybody else. It's time for me to show up for Tori.
Yeah.
So I'm getting better with it. So yeah, that's the key word, being intentional about it. I like that.
I like that too because I feel like the intentional part of it is the most important part for us. We have to intentionally take that time for our self-care because there's so much going on in our lives, typically that if we're not intentional with it, we'll just be like the old folks used to say down here if you're kind of country, running around like a chicken with the head cut off. But it's important to break this guilt cycle. We don't have to feel guilty about this. We really don't. Society might make you feel like there's so much that you have to do. There's so many expectations, and we internalize that. And when we internalize that, that's not good for us. So if you're internalizing guilt associated with prioritizing your self care, let that go. Let's let that go. This is Women's History Month. This is a good time for you. And I mean, if we got some men out here listening, I mean, you've got to take care of yourself too. You really do. But understand when your woman has to take some of that time for herself. Understand when your mother or your friends, I think you should understand when they are being what Kimberly gave us the language. She said, I'm being intentional with my self care because we have to be. I see we got Jamesa here. She says, I keep my phone on silent. I pick and choose. So I pick and choose who I want to talk to. You have to. You have to. And the reason why you have to do that is because sometimes, that person on the other side is bringing you some information that is taking away from your self care. It could be some type of drama. I see Tanya Vale let us know that the ABCs of Self-Love book has some really good self-reflection and self-love activities. All right. All right. Thanks for sharing that, guys. You guys look for that book, The ABCs of Self-Love. The
And
ABCs of Self-Love.
I'll post a picture, Tanya, and I'll tag you in it, of the book, because it's an amazing book. And I'm just only like, I think I'm like 2-3 days in, because Tanya blessed me with it on Sunday.
All
So
right.
it's like one of those books. It's one of those things you can't put down. Like, you can do it day by day by the ABCs, letter by. But me, I like to read, so I'm about to be reading it. You know what I mean? About to read it in one setting. It's just that
Okay.
good.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Is it a book that has like balloon, like the letters look like balloons or
Yes,
something like that? Okay.
yes,
Okay.
that one. Yes, it is
Okay.
really good. Yes.
Okay. 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 All right, I see we got KJ in here. She said, "Do not disturb and focus modes are my favorite features on my phone."
Listen, I was gonna say that, but Tanya, my short term memory, I get distracted and I forget. But that's what I was gonna say. My phone stayed on do not disturb, and people fuss at me all the time about that do not disturb. But I gotta do what's best for me. So I feel
Absolutely.
KJ with that. I feel her.
I get it. You gotta you isn't that what it's there for?
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
So are you supposed to be feeling guilty about using that?
Uh,
Absolutely not.
nope.
All right. So here's I see they got the book here. It's also on Amazon. Melanie Godfrey, The ABCs of Self-Love. So Tanya Vale has shared with us that it happens to be a good book that actually has some really good self-reflection and self-love activities. So thank you for sharing that information. I'm sure it is, and I definitely would check it out myself. And she said it's at Five Below, so in that respect, I think I'm really gonna go check it out because, that's a good little spot. I love a little discount, and for me, that's a little self-care for my wallet.
Right.
I see we got Miss Bequilla in the house with us. How you doing, Miss Bequilla? She says, generations, we have always put self care at the bottom of our priorities. We do, and we've
Ooh, that's
definitely
it.
got to stop.
Definitely. Hey, Mr. Quilla, that is absolutely, and that's the reason why, because of what she said, why I used to feel so guilty about doing self care, because we always will take care of ourselves later. And the analogy that they use where when you get on the plane, how you put the bag on yourself first. I'll
Hmm.
be one of those people that's gonna put the bag on the other person, and I'm myself gonna be suffocating. So that's reason why I feel guilty. Just to what she said, I feel guilty a lot. But I'm like I said, I'm learning to not feel as guilty. I still feel guilty from time to time, but I'm learning not to.
We got to. We've got to. Um, Let me ask you this question here. How do you what are some of the barriers you feel are in the way that kind of stop you from self-care? Like, what are some of those things that stop you from giving yourself that self-care that you know that you need? And how do you feel like you can overcome those?
One of my biggest barriers is I'm a very empathetic person. I'm a great listener, and I try my best to always be there for others. And that's like, I feel like sometimes that could be my downfall because I'm being there for others so much that I'm neglecting myself. But one of the key things that I'm trying to do work on is not, like I said earlier, not answering every call, not responding to every text. And sometimes I can feel like if I'm getting a call and I can look, depending on who's making the call, I could tell it's going to be, y'all excuse Logan, it's going to be something that's not going to be beneficial to me, beneficial to my mental, beneficial to my way of thinking, my perspective. And it can, like, I used to allow things that people do, things that people say, and whatever, I used to allow it to control my whole day. Like, you could say something to me in the morning because I took your call, and it could change the whole trajectory of my day. So that do not disturb is my best friend. And like I said, depending on who's calling, I know not to answer if I don't have the mental capacity to handle it. Because there's some people, I'm one of those people, I would allow people to dump on me all the time,
Mhm.
and it was draining me. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I'm learning to do. Like I said, not to answer every call, not to answer every text. And there's some people where literally I had to block because it was too overwhelming and it was too draining. So I had to do what I had to do to protect my peace.
I got you. See, that's the thing. And that is why it is important to set boundaries. That's why it's important to have strategies for establishing healthy boundaries because you got to protect your time and you got to protect your energy. You have to. I mean, that's very important. And it's also important to have some self-compassion. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
you're out here and you're being good to so many people. You're being kind to people. Like you say, you allow people to come to you and decompress, right? But
Yes.
what kind of compassion are you giving yourself? Like how are you doing that? So I feel like that's very important. Cultivate some kindness towards yourself. That is a really I feel like that's a really good thing that you could do if you want to practice some type of self-care.
And you
Uh,
know what? Something that good that you just said, that you practice that stuff to yourself. People pay attention to how you're treating yourself. If you're not loving on yourself, you're not being kind to yourself, you're not taking time for yourself. But guess what? People are gonna not are gonna do the same thing. They're following your lead of how you're treating yourself. And I would say to myself, I'm not being kind to myself. So that's why people are not being kind to me.
mhm.
I'm not taking time for myself. So that's why people are not taking time for me. And like, I'm a good listener. And it's like people will call, like when I call them to talk to them about things, it's like they rush me off the phone or they didn't have time. When I literally hold the phone for 30 minutes to an hour listening to what you got going on. But
Woo,
I can't even get 15 minutes.
you got some incredible patience, girl.
I have done it. I will sit and hold the phone and I like to listen to understand. And I'll ask, is it okay that I respond? Is it okay that I give you some advice? But it's not reciprocated. And I learned that I had to take care of me. And that's why Logan, really? So that's why I'm learning that I got to take more time for me. And now that I am doing that, I can see the change. And I can also see that my circle has changed as well. The
Right.
circle of people that I have around me that has changed as well. And surrounding myself with people with like minds more.
Good.
So that
Good,
makes a
good, good.
difference as well.
Well, we asked the question. We asked people what were some of the things that they did to, what are some of the activities or what are some of the rituals that they did to replenish themselves? What were some of their self-care rituals? And Tanya Joseph, she said, I love meditation. And meditation and breath work is always a good one. I feel like anytime something is going on and I kind of want to get back to myself, if I just stop and I do some intentional breathing, it really helps me recenter, refocus, and whatever it is that I need to pay attention to, I can do that in a calmer state, you know? And so that's why I like even at the top of the podcast and at the end, that's really why I like to do the breath work. I want us to intentionally go into this conversation with our mind at ease a little bit because some of the conversations that we might have, they may not be the easiest conversation. And whether they are or whether they're not, we still get to take that breath work for ourselves because that is something for us. Whether you were at work, you get ready to go to lunch, you probably had a stressful morning maybe, or somebody kind of pissed you off already in your workday. Well, you know what? Get rid of that. Do a little breath work. So that's a good one, Tanya. Meditation is always good. We got Jamesa here. She said, Kimberly, I love to travel out the country too. I need a partner. All right, all right. Well, y'all need to hook on up then. I see we have Tony in the house. How you doing, Tony? Tony Charles in here with us. She said, I always put me on my calendar. That's important. That's very important. I don't know how many of you are putting yourself on your calendar. I don't know if you're doing that or not, but I tell you what, this morning I just mapped out and put all of my massage appointments on the calendar. And I made sure that I get that for me. It's important.
I
Tonya,
like that. I got to start doing that, putting me on the calendar. I like that
yeah,
concept.
there you go. I like that too. Let me put that back up. She says, I always put me on my calendar. And she also goes to say, we put everyone else on it.
True.
She's right. We put everybody else on it. We penciling people in, we scheduling this, that, and the other. So why are we not scheduling ourselves? Good one. All right, we got Tanya Vale in here. She says, Tanya, I have one for you. Tori Williams. I'll give it to you Wednesday. Oh wow. I guess you're talking about gifting me a book?
Yes, I will
Oh
get it for you.
well, thank you. I appreciate it. I tell you what, that book has to be good because I'm a person who likes to gift books. If I like a book and I feel like, some other people need to read it, I'm gonna buy a few copies and I like to give them out too. So that's gotta be a good one. I will definitely read it.
It is
Uh,
amazing, Tanya. You will definitely love it. It's amazing.
all right. We got Tony Charles in here again. She said, I learned to take care of me better after I was sick. See, Tony, that's what we're trying to avoid. Why do we have to wait until it's an emergency or something happened for us to take care of us? I want to try to be proactive or as proactive as I can be. You know what I mean? We wait until we're at our worst and we realize we've run ourselves down. We don't have anything else left. And now we gotta, pull ourselves back up. No. Let's do that now. Let's do that before, the illness, before something happens to us. All right, we got KJ here. She said, I learned that I can't give my best if I don't feel my best. So when I need a self-care moment, I take it guilt-free. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you. And that's what this conversation is about. And this is where we want to get people because we should not be feeling guilty for taking care of ourselves. Self-care is empowerment.
And I love the way that KJ thinks. I did not have that thought process when I was her age. A lot of stuff, the wisdom that she has now, y'all, Logan is doing the most. But the wisdom that she has at her age, I didn't have that. I didn't have that
Child,
at all. I'm learning that stuff now, later in life. So I really appreciate the wisdom. But I can only expect that because look who her mama is.
listen.
She learned from the best, ain't it?
I can't say that because I was about to say the same thing. Me
Really?
either. No, not really. I mean, I've always been a pretty level-headed type of person. I don't know. But I kind of agree with you. I feel like for a young person, and it's not a lot of young people who are in that mind space, but when I do see that, just like you, I want to be like, hey, I see that. I respect that. You do your thing, lady. Do your thing. All right. I see we got Kimberly here. She says, yes, 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 Tori. People get used to you always being available and they take advantage of it. I don't think that people do it with poor intentions. They're just doing what you've taught them. Woo!
Ooh, ouch, ouch, ouch.
Okay. Did she just say what she said?
And meant what she said.
We're going to leave that comment up. She said, listen, people get used to you always being available and they take advantage of it. I don't think people do it with poor intentions. They just doing what you've taught them. And that's the truth. You teach people how to treat you. We don't take that as serious. Like we all know that. We all say that. We've heard that. But listen, living the reality of that is a totally different thing. Pay attention to how you are allowing people to treat you. All right, we got Tanya Vale
Ooh.
here again. Go
Now,
ahead.
let me just
Express on
say,
that. Go
let
ahead.
me just say that that's like a male friend of mine just told me that he just checked me on that yesterday. He's like, Tori, you don't you don't check people when they treat you a certain way. You just allow it because he said you suffer from a trauma response. What I do when people treat me a certain way, I avoid. He said, you got to stop avoiding and address the issues. Let people know this ain't right. So it's my fault. So that's why that comment, I just had to say ouch. And this is the second time I'm hearing this because my male friend just told me the same thing yesterday.
Well, you know what that means.
Confirmation.
Okay? You got some confirmation on that. It's like you're not but you can't feel too bad. You got to do something about it. But what I do want to say is you can't feel too bad because you're not out here alone. It's a lot of people who struggle with setting boundaries. But the thing is, they're struggling with setting boundaries when it comes to prioritizing their own needs. You gotta stop doing that. Like I said, self-care is empowerment. So how are you looking to rectify this, Tori? How do you look to handle boundary settings at this point? I mean, I know we're kind of putting, well, not we, but I'm gonna say we because it's the people who making me say this. This ain't me alone. How are you going to handle boundary settings in your life? Like, what are some of the things that you think you might need to start doing? Just hearing this conversation and being involved in this conversation right now. What are some of the things that you feel like you need to start doing so that you can handle setting boundaries and not feel
Simple.
guilty?
Yeah, simple. Speaking up and just not letting people just do treat me any kind of way. Just start speaking up. Because sometimes I know me personally, sometimes I don't say something because of who the person may be. I'm like, I can't say this, you know what I'm saying? So it's just simple for me. You just need to speak up because I am too worried about people's feelings when they're not even worried about mine. But I care too much about hurting people's feelings. But sometimes you gotta hurt people's feelings to get your point across, and I just have to start doing that. But my heart is so I just love people, and I just don't want to hurt nobody's feelings.
But I want to ask you a question. I get that.
Yeah.
I get what you're trying to say here, but how do you know you're hurting their feelings?
Because of
So
like when I have said things in the past, it turned into an argument, and I'm one of those people that I don't like to argue. I don't like confrontation. So if you start arguing, you start yelling, I shut down completely. So I
okay.
just so I just stops talking.
So that avoidance, and that's not good because at that point you're internalizing it.
Right, and it's affecting my health.
Right. Those things, when that gets inside of your body and you're not doing some type of self-care, you're not releasing it. You're not doing any type of meditation. You're not breathing it out. You're not getting some exercise. You're not feeding your soul and allowing these things to just be released. You're doing
Right.
damage to yourself. I see
Yeah.
we've got Tanya here. She says, become a plant mom. Sitting with my plant helps me be in touch with nature and myself. Oh yeah, I love my plants. I love my plants, girl. I know exactly what you mean. All right. We've got KJ here. She said, for me, self care can be as simple as putting on my favorite old school playlist and just jamming out. Do people still say that? LOL. Now, wait a minute.
Yeah, we do. I do.
Okay, but she's trying to act like she in the generation of talking about jamming. If you don't sit down somewhere, jamming out. Yeah, we be but you know what? That is another good one. Like putting on a real music can just change the total vibe.
It
So
definitely can.
if you've got a great playlist and you wanna do certain things, you know how we do, you know how the sisters do, like how your mamas do or yourself. You put on that old R&B playlist and you get in there and you start cleaning up on a weekend, on a Saturday or something like that. I mean, that's the thing. And we've got somebody right here, right after her. Mazella, she says, listening to inspirational music. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a really great one. Music, it will really set the tone. Change it up. All right. We got Ashley here. She said, that's a good idea. Put me on the calendar. That's done. We all love that,
Yeah.
Ashley.
Yeah. And you know something else when it comes to when you're listening to stuff, I like to listen to the sounds of the ocean. I also like to listen to the sound of the rain. Cause I one night I was listening to like the thundering, and my son was like, "Wait a minute, where is that coming from? It's not raining outside." But I like to do that. Listen to the rain and the thunder. Sometimes it relaxes my mind
It
because
is.
I'm bad with overthinking, and sometimes I do that to list to relax my mind.
That's a good one. I mean, that's a whole thing. I mean, of course, that's nature, but there are people who actually have whole channels that center around like rain and nature, and that's how we're able to hear it because somebody has thought well enough. Not only do they like it, but they also thought well enough to upload and have a platform that presents that, and it's available for us. You know.
Absolutely, and that's actually where I listen to it from different channels on YouTube.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Alright. Um, we also have, Tanya again. She says, "Practice emotional intelligence. Learn to feel deeply and respond, not react." See, there's a difference.
Yes,
There's a difference. She said, "Learn to feel deep." See, so you can feel deeply and respond, but you don't have to react. And I just wanna add something in there, just like you said, well, I don't like to be confrontational. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. And it's okay because if you know that you're a good person and you're coming from a good space, and whether you verbalize that or not, you could also within that conversation say, look, it is not my intention to hurt your feelings, but I want to passionately express this to you because this is what I'm feeling. So sometimes I feel like these type of conversations and hearing how people deal with certain issues, it can kind of help us so that we can learn how to communicate with those people that in a way that we probably didn't think about before. Maybe we didn't have the language for that before, or we just hadn't thought about it. And that's what I love about this. So I like that. I like what Tanya said. She said, learn to feel deeply and respond, not react. But also, you know, don't go in here trying to feel other people's feelings because sometimes that thing that you're feeling or that message that you're about to give to them and you know that it is from truth, they need that message. So think about the fact that you're holding back something from someone. Like you're such a caring person. So do you care enough to go ahead and deliver that message to them in the way that it needs to be delivered? Don't hold it back. They need it.
absolutely.
And maybe coming from you because they know that you come with kindness. They know that you have an incredible patience. So if you tell them that, then I think they can, take it with a level of seriousness and really check themselves. So think about that, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I am.
All right. And we got KJ in here again. She said, now, when my bank account aligns with my other self care practices, I like to travel. It's just something about tropical air that makes me love myself even more. Ooh, and the way the sun feels when you're on that beach. I can agree with you on that tropical air now. I agree. We got Tony in here. She says, I'm going to get the book. Get the book. Everybody get the book and let's read the book and maybe we can decide at some point, we can come back and discuss what practices we're using, what practices we took from this conversation, and what practices were we able to take from the book. All right. KJ in here, she said, Logan is taking in all this good information. Yes, he is. Come on, Logan. She
He
also
really
says,
is.
KJ says, I did learn a lot from my mom, but college and working with young people has taught me so much. Absolutely. It's going to be your own life experiences that, you know, you're going to have some of the greatest lessons you are because people can't tell you things. Or put it like this, they can. So for as much as you can hear something, or your mom could tell you something. It could be in the back of your mind until you're out here, real world, experiencing and have an opportunity to put some of those words in practice. It's just not going to mean the same thing, you know?
Right, absolutely. And sometimes you learn from your personal experiences from different people that you observe, you learn how not to be as well.
Exact. Say that again.
You learn how not to be.
Yes. You can learn how not to be. So some of those same people who are putting pressures and putting things on you, and responsibilities on you, and without caring about you, you learn how not to be that way. I like that. I like that a lot. I see Tony here. She says, I learned that during my sickness, people got by and maintained. Keep on maintaining, and I've learned the word no. I can't do it this time. Tony, Tony. If I had some applause right now, I give them up. But I'm not in the studio. I'm at home, girl. I'm at his house. Let me tell you something. What you said is so important. She learned during her sickness that people got by and maintained. And that is so important. Like, people, you think that everybody needs you, that you got to do everything, like you got to do this. And that goes the same for your job. Them people gonna get by without you. So you can be out here and wearing yourself down and take yourself out if you want to, but people gonna keep on keeping on. You better know it and you better realize it. So that's why this is important. Um, I wanna ask this question too. If there are some people, even if they're some men, I don't know if we have any guys in here with us right now, but I want to know if there are any tips that you might have for for helping women feel more comfortable about their self-care. So, if you are a maid, if you are a family member, a friend, a daughter, or a son, what are some of the things that you do to help those people around you that you love feel more comfortable about their self-care? Let's get some of those in within the last few minutes that we have here, and see what we can do. Um, but I hear you, Tony. I gotta put your comment up again. She said, I learned during my sickness that people got by and maintained. Y'all heard that? So they gonna keep on. When you not here, you can kill yourself if you want to, but they gonna still be here, and they gonna do and get what they need to get done. So remember that. I see we got Nicole Gibson here. How you doing, lady? Good to have you in the house with us. She said the truth hurts people, but we need it. Absolutely. We need it. I see KJ said, my generation can jam. Listen, y'all don't know nothing about no jam. What, with on the bread with some peanut butter? Y'all probably don't even call it that. You calling it jelly. Although there's a difference. There's a difference. I see we got Kevin Brooks in here with us. He said, I listen to sound baths. That's a good one, man. And that's what we talked about that a little bit. Music and sound bath sounds are very, relaxing, put you in a real tranquil type of a mood.
Yes. And you know what else? Speaking of sounds, there are some people that dedicate their channels to what is called the, what is it? ASMR, where it's just sounds.
I'm not
People find that relaxing. Like Lord Logan. ASMR, like if people, like if you're washing your hair, some people like to just listen to somebody washing their hair. Some people like the sound of crunching food. It's like different things. And it's called the ASMR. I
mhm.
forgot what it stands for, but it's just the sound. People just want to hear the sound.
Okay, sound is very, very important. I see we got Tony here. She says your message could be a blessing, and she's talking about, sometimes we hold these messages back from people thinking that we don't want to hurt their feelings, but the truth of the matter is your message could be their blessing. So you got to think that way. Thank you for sharing that. I thank you for putting those words and putting that in that context, because I feel like there's somebody who can receive that better. How you feel about that, Tori?
I agree. Thank you so much, Miss Tony, for sharing that. I totally agree.
Yeah, that's a good one. I see we got Kimberly here. She said, my morning ritual really sets me up for the day. I listen to anything inspirational. Abraham Hicks, Brene Brown are two favorites. And then a short workout. I always feel better after I'm done. Yeah, find somebody. You can do that. People can be inspirational to you. They might have some words and put things in a context that just kind of give you a different mindset about it. Like, hey, I didn't think about that way, but now that I've heard that like that, that makes a lot of sense to me. And just like, there's always been people will read affirmations, their affirmation cards. I have some of those myself. It's important. If it helps you, use it. All of these things are tools. But anything that is going to help you be a better you and help you take care of you, I'm for it. All right. I see we also have Antoinette in here. She says, self care was hard for me until last October. I allowed someone to get to me to the point that I thought I had a stroke or heart attack. I've truly learned the meaning of wusa. I meditate a lot, and I've always been the monster that music claimed. What? I'm sorry. It's always been the monster that music calms. I had to learn about the season that God was leading me to. I learned who's for me and not, and that's changed me. I'm now getting back to me. Well, I'm happy to hear that for you, lady. I really am
I
happy to
am
hear that.
absolutely happy to hear that because I know her personally, so I'm definitely happy to hear that.
I'm happy
And
to
you
hear
know
that.
some conversations that her and I have had, so I'm oh that just gave me a sense of peace just to hear that. I'm happy. I love that for you.
Yeah, yeah. And I tell you something, that's just what we have to do. Like I said, it's difficult, and sometimes it takes us going through something, and sometimes we have to battle something medically, or sometimes it might be you might lose a job or have a financial situation, but some type of hardship typically puts people in a space where they've gotta be thinking about themselves now. They've been forced to think about themselves. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because I feel like it's important for us to think about ourselves before those hardships, not saying that the hardships won't come, but we'll be better at managing it. And
And
that's what we want to be able to do. We'll be better at healing.
And let me say this as well, because someone called me the other day and the conversation was draining. But let me say this to people that need to hear it. It's for people that need to hear it. Be delivered from people's opinion. Stop worrying about how people see you. Stop worrying about how people talk about you. Stop worrying about those things, because like the conversation that I had with someone last week, it was like, well, this person is feel that. I'm like, how they feel, what they say has nothing to do with you. So please deliver yourself for people's opinion. That'll save you a whole lot of heartache as well. And I hope they're
Girl,
listening.
you done delivered a whole word, and you done took out a whole generation. You I hope my mama and her generation listening, because I'm gonna tell you something about them boomers. Them some worried about what people think type of people. You understand? That whole generation. And that's why a lot of us in this generation needed therapy. I see we got KJ in here. She said, I realized that I always given advice that I needed to take. So I started taking it. Woo!
That's good. That's so good. You so good.
Child.
You give the advice, but are you taking the advice that you give? That's good. That's good.
Did she just not say what I thought she just said?
And then
Woo! Child. Mm. Mhm, mhm, mhm. All right, we got Brother Fatim in the house with us. How you doing, Brother Fatim? He says that's why you have to make yourself number one when it comes to self care, especially especially if we are doing a lot for many people, many folks. Yes, sir. We absolutely have to. He also goes to say, for me as a man, that helped supported my late wife's self care was making sure that she got her some me time. Y'all heard that? So these are the things that Brother Fatim did to help support his wife, making sure that she got her me time. Listen, listen, listen to her and supported her needs, sharing positive affirmations, books, and magazines, give flowers and cards to show that she was appreciated. And see, that's being a very attentive person. That's paying attention to the person that you love and understanding that they do need that self time. They need that me time. Doesn't mean that they're not loving you, doesn't mean that they're not, you're not a priority, but you're allowing them to know that they've got to prioritize themselves. All right?
Absolutely. I love that. And that's the key word, Tanya. What you just said was based on his comment. It makes a difference when people are attentive. That is
Mhm.
so important when people are
Absolutely.
attentive and they pay attention to the small, simple details. I love that.
Yes, yes, yes. I see we got Nicole Gibson in here. How you doing, Nicole? Good afternoon. Good to have you down here in the conversation with us down in the chat. She said, "We as women need to be there for each other more without judgment." Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
ma'am. Just be a listening ear sometimes. Create some type of supportive environment where someone feels comfortable expressing themselves to you and you can listen and actively and empathetically without judgment. Without judgment. And I tell you another thing that I want to add to this, something that I feel like be the example. Be an example. Lead by example. Like as a person who practice self-care yourself, demonstrate that and demonstrate how important it is through your actions. So, by you prioritizing your own well being, you're setting a positive example for others to follow. So be that example. They can listen. For too long, we've been allowing people to make us feel that it's selfish. Okay, be selfish with yourself. And if they feel like it's selfish, let them deal with that, but don't let them put that on you. All right. I see we got Kimberly St. Clair said, "Come on, KJ. I had this conversation recently." Absolutely. And Antoinette said, "Nicole Gibson, absolutely." I see y'all in here agreeing and affirming each other. And that's another good thing to do. Let's affirm each other. We got Nicole in here. She said, "Yes, ma'am." And Tanya Vale, she said, "Be who you needed." Woo! You about to take me out to end this conversation.
Woo! That's it right there. Ooh, that was good to me.
I'm not reading any more comments. That's the last one. I'm gonna leave it on up here for a little bit.
Woo!
Tori,
Mm. Ma'am, I'm
can
about
we
to run
take
through the listen. I'm about to run through the house as if Logan ain't already had me run through the house. But I need to take a praise dance for that one.
you understand me?
Yes, yes.
Be who you needed. That's it, y'all. That's it. This has been a great conversation. I feel like so many people. This was a good. We had a lot of engagement here today. A lot of engagement. So I appreciate all of you. You gave some really healthy tips. I feel like we've got a book that is being shared, the ABCs of self care. I want you guys to go ahead and hit the like button, and I want you to subscribe if you're on here on YouTube and interacting. Thank you so much. If you're on Facebook and you're interacting, thank you so much. If you're on the book, I want you to go over to YouTube and support there because that's very important. But you got to make sure that these type of conversations that we're having and you feel like they're important, I got to ask you guys to share it. I gotta ask you guys and make sure that you're supporting on the other platforms as well. Self-care is what we were talking about today, and self-care is very important. Tori, do you have anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
I just want to tell people to definitely tell myself, as Logan beat on the refrigerator, to just take care of yourself. And it's okay to, because I've been doing this for years. I take myself out to eat, I take myself to the movies, and sometimes you have to take yourself for a walk. So it's okay to do stuff for yourself. Do whatever you need to do to protect your peace. Set up set, set up necessary boundaries and do what works for you. And don't care about who doesn't like it. It's all about you. And like
All
Miss
right.
Tony says, put yourself on the calendar.
I agree, I agree, I agree. All right, lady. Always good talking to you. Always good talking to Tori. Guys, we got to wrap this thing up. This has been a very good conversation. I want to thank you all. I want us to carry this forward. We need to carry this message forward. All of the tips that were shared here, like go back through the comments and read some of those. Go back through there and like some of those. Put some likes on that. Respond to it. Do that. And just keep this in your mind. Self-care is not selfish. It is, in fact, revolutionary. It's a revolutionary act of self-love and preservation. All right? Nurture yourself. Become better equipped to, nurture yourself. In that way, you're going to be better at nurturing the people around you. That's what you want to do. So let's embrace the notion that prioritizing your own well-being, it's not just a choice. It's a fundamental right. So until the next time, I want you guys to remember to honor yourself guilt-free. Continue to pave the path towards true empowerment through self-care. And before we get out of here, because I care and because we care about each other, we're going to stay in here just for a little bit longer. And we're going to do this breath work before we get back in this work mode or whatever else it was you were doing. All right, y'all? Let's do some breath work. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold a few seconds. Exhale. And hold that a few seconds. Inhale one more time. Hold a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. And don't you feel great? I feel great. I appreciate you guys. And if nobody gave you a smile today, if nobody smiled today, you just close your eyes and give yourself a big smile and see how that feels for you. Right? Y'all be great out here. That's what we do. One love, y'all.